Right, hello, my name's Nigel. Thanks very much for your order on Fiverr. I'm going to be reviewing your website today, and hopefully I can give you some good insights with regards to making improvements and, hopefully help you make a better experience for your users um, as they navigate throughout your website. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. First, landing on your homepage, I immediately got the impression that your website had something to do with sort of a online current affairs or current news kind of website or blog. Definitely with regards to obviously the celebrities that I'm seeing and all the different social media buttons and some motivational quotes. It looks like you're definitely trying to convey either up-to-date content or content that is inspirational, or it definitely feels like a blog or an article-based kind of website, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't as yet started to navigate or scroll down, so everything you're seeing is sort of from a first-time impression perspective. The reason I ask what your website is all about is because it's very important that you convey a sense of clarity of your website needs to have an overall sense of clarity as quickly as possible, regardless of what kind of content you're sort of serving up. It's very important that when I land on a site, I as the customer know what to do. And the only way I can work out what to do is I first need to understand what I'm looking at. And the best way to sort of convey that is to use an age-old marketing principle or age-old marketing model called the AIDA model, which is, I know I'm going into probably marketing 101 or marketing semantics here, but AIDA is a really, really effective way of being able to, present your content in a very quick fashion so that people understand what it is that you're doing. As soon as they understand what you're doing, then they can start interacting and engaging with your content. It's been around for about 100 years since since the Industrial Revolution. Ever since human beings have had products on mass production ready to sell, there had to be a way of being able to convey it, whether it's via billboard ads, whether it's via poster ads. Nowadays, our modern billboards and posters are the likes of the internet, but it's all sort of the same thing. It's just been a lot more modernized. But the overall objective is that you want to take your customers through these sort of four mindsets. You want to grab their attention, you want to arouse their interest, you want to create desire, and you want to promote action. And that doesn't matter whether it's whether you're selling something, whether you're showing somebody an article, whatever it is that you want them to do. This is the sort of steps you need to sort of take them through. If you miss out on any of the sort of the first three steps, the fourth step isn't gonna sort of happen. If they don't, if your article grabs somebody's attention with the photograph, the headline arouses interest, the brief short intro paragraph created some desire, there's a more than likely chance that they're going to create that the read more button is going to make some type of action. But if you sort of do any of these ineffectively, it isn't as potent. But to give you a good example of how it's sort of used just to sort of break it down for you, because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to sort of show you the AIDA principle in action. What I've done is I've pulled up two brief examples. The first one being a simple example that you can understand. It's a basic website design company. And the second one is more of a complex sort of online startup. So I'm going to sort of take you through the first one, and then we'll move on to the second one afterwards. Okay, so the attention grabber. What do you think grabs your attention most on this page as you first land on this website? Chances are, in my opinion, it's this primary visual graphic towards the right-hand side. This visual graphic is the attention grabber, and hopefully it holds your attention long enough that you move over to the interest point, which is a short description of what exactly their website's all about. It's the largest copy on the page, and it brings across the clarity that you need so that you can sort of continue with making any further decisions about whether or not you want to interact with this website. Website design, online marketing, and mobile app development with stunning results. It's very clear, it's very to the point, and there's the confusion is sort of gone. You know that you can't order a pizza from them. You can't order a Christmas tree from them. This is what they do. Okay. Then we move on to the desirability aspect, which is in general just this brief little paragraph over here, and it just follows on from the interest point, and it really just highlights some unique selling points about their business. They're a digital marketing agency focused on creative and results-driven solutions for companies ranging from startups to Fortune 1000. So you get a very neat little understanding of who they are in a nutshell without feeling like you're reading an essay. And then we get to the call to action, and the call to action is a really, really important part of any website, not only just on one page, but you need to have this continuous golden thread of call to actions if you really want to do your website well, because it helps guide people. Think of it as your website's public guidance system. Without calls to action, people they get lost. They don't know. They end up in the bathroom, and instead they need to be on center stage. You need to show people around. The same way if you're at an amusement park, for example. How do you get to the big cool rides? You need to follow signage that show you where to go. Walk here. Turn left. Go up. It's the same type of thinking, but it's on a website. So, the important thing is that you need to be able to also guide people to where they need to be, or where you want them to be. Do you want them to, if you're selling products, you want to be able to guide them to look at your products so that they can add them to a shopping basket, so that they can go to the checkout, so that they can pay you money. And those all need to be thought through. If you're running a blog, you need to guide people to your blog articles, or the means to be able to search your blog articles, or the means to be able to search categories, or depends on what it is or where it is you want to take people. In this case, they're a basic online web design agency, and they just want you to look at their work. They've created lots of other websites, and if they believe if you look at the websites that they've created, you might like them, and you might relate to what they've done, and then hopefully from there get in touch with them. They've got a very simple sort of roadmap. They want you to look at their work, which is their primary call to action, and secondary, they want you to request a quote if you've already seen their work. If by any chance you don't want to request a quote, you want to see work first, you click on see our work button, and that takes you through a nice neat little page sort of highlighting all the different things that they've done. And at the bottom, the call to action takes you to the next step, request a quote. And then from the request, if you go through to the request a quote page, click on the request a quote page. That takes you to the request a quote page, where you fill in some very basic details, and the submit button becomes the call to action. So it's a very neat little user journey, and it works really, really effectively. And the one thing I want you to notice about the calls to action, like I was saying, like a public guidance system, it needs to stand out, and that's what I love about this site. Their company name is Blue Fountain Media. Their company color scheme is this bright blue, but they're making sure that their calls to action stand out and don't blend in by making them this bright green color, which works really, really well. Anyways, moving on to the second example, which is a more complex example, and I'm going to sort of explain why. These guys are new to market. There aren't many other businesses out there that offer these types of services, and with that comes the challenge of being able to bring across as much clarity as possible when you're presenting a new product to market. People need to understand very clearly what it is you're offering before they'll even consider purchasing it from you. So you need to make that as clear as anything. So these guys are basically they've ramped up their call to action by turning it into an explainer video, or their main attention grabber they've turned into an explainer video, which has its own little AIDA principle built into the video. By the middle of the video, they're creating interest and desire. By the end of the video, there's a call to action. But it's a really neat little way of, in short and sweet 2 minutes, conveying exactly what their concept or business proposition is all about. Then you move over to their interest point, which in my opinion is a very effective, well-written interest point. They've kept it clean, they've kept it simple, but they're making sure that their concept, the penny drops. By the time you've read these 2 sentences, you get what they're about. Turn the world into your office. Grasshopper lets you run your business using your cell phones. Very, 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 very neat way of explaining exactly what a business does. Without these 2 sentences, this whole homepage would fall flat, because you wouldn't understand what their products are all about. So reading unique selling points or clicking on a see how it works button won't help you if you don't understand the key idea behind the entire site. So yeah, the desirability aspects are bullet points as opposed to a short paragraph. This way they can highlight unique selling points in a bullet sort of fashion. And then the see how it works button is the primary call to action, which takes you to a basic page that just explains what their website is all about in 4 little steps. And then from there, the primary call to action focuses around getting a number and signing up. So yeah, after that short little monologue of comparing the AIDA principle to these 2 examples, coming back to your homepage, what would I change? What would I improve? Well, the first thing is that, what is your attention grabber? What if we were to go on AIDA model sort of basics? What's grabbing my attention at the moment? At the moment, I'm looking at the celebs on the right, and then I look down and I see more celebs, and then there's some big buttons with regards to Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. Then there's a couple sort of quotations. And then you're sort of, the headline's a little bit tucked down below the fold, and you're sort of saying discover new adventures. And that's it. I'm not seeing a dominant interest point that sort of gives me an idea of what your website's all about. I see you've got an easy to use sort of pod area, very easy to use pod area, which is a bit strange, designed for you, great performance. I'm not finding the website very easy to use, so I'm hoping by reading more content it should be get a bit better. So you've got another one here, easy to use. User platform is designed for especially the baby boomer generation, great performance. I'm still not understanding what your website's all about. I'm going to read the first one and have a look here. Our easy to use platform is designed for especially the baby boomer generation and Generation X being part of the great social media. Still not understanding what your website does. Very easy to use. Okay. Being part of the great social media. Okay, you've just repeated everything. That doesn't help. Designed for you. We're absolutely hooked on designing amazing social experiences that simply work. We've got the ideas. We've got the know-how, innovation, and creativity. Okay, you guys have it, but I don't. I'm not understanding what you're trying to sell me here. I don't know what to do. I thought your website was a blog, but I'm not seeing a blog. I'm seeing a login and a sign up. I'm seeing documents, about us, network. Let's maybe have a look up here. Our easy to use platform is designed especially for the baby boomer generation, Generation X. Okay, you're repeating yourself. Being part of the great social media network that protects your privacy and allows you to connect with your friends around the world. Share posts, photos, and videos in the cloud. When you use our platform, you'll be able to see if any of your friends are currently logged in and connect with them easily. Okay, you can sign in and okay. I'm not understanding. There's a horrible gap that's sort of taking place here. I'm assuming you're trying to be another social network that sort of bridges the gap between other social networks, but I'm guessing. I don't know for definite. And as you know, with most social media outlets, it's very important because of how competitive it is out there. I'm just going to quickly log out of my Facebook profile here. When somebody lands on your social network for the first time, you need to convey exactly why I would want to sign up, and you need to show me how, where, what do I do? Do I go to a form? Do I read? Do I watch a video? What is it that you want me to do? I'm just trying to sign out here for a moment. So I see you do have a login and a sign up area at the top here, but it's not prominent. It's not standing out. I don't know if that's what you want me to do, or if that's sort of a nice to have. If and when I feel like getting to it, I'm not 100% sure. I think the point I'm trying to get to is that you need to have that clear call to action. And before you can get to it, you need to convey clarity. You need to give me a solid idea of what I can expect from your website, first landing on it for the very first time. I'm just clicking through to your document section here. I see you're just sort of going through some basic documents. That seems like a very strange navigation item to have second. I'm still in that mind frame where I don't understand. I don't know what you want me to do. Do you want me to and then now I'm left, I'm wandering the theme park trying to find my friends. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Okay, there's an about us and you're talking about yourselves, your mission, your goal. that's great, but you're not helping me. You're not helping me work out where I need to be. Let's go to the network. Maybe that might be a place to go. I'm hoping. I'm holding thumbs. Let's see what it does. I apologize, my internet is a little bit slow this morning. Network. Okay, so it seems like we're going to a fresh new page now. It seems like quite a long page. Okay, so we're looking at a bit of a blog sort of orientated area of content. Quite a bit of content to sort of read through. Not quite sure the relevance of this. It looks like all of the content has been posted by the same person. Okay, not quite sure what to do there though. Let's go into the login. Okay, I can't log in. I need to sign up first. So let's go to sign up. Okay, so you're asking for quite a bit of information. Be wary of asking for too much detail right from the beginning. Otherwise somebody might not want to sort of interact. Okay, so I'm going to go with my just my handle from Fiverr crudely. Password, I'm just going to use the word password. Email, I'm going to use my Gmail account. If I can do a copy paste here. Yeah, okay, let's do a register. The big thing I'm interested about here is what happens after I hit the register button. Are you going to take me to a page that continues my frustration of being lost, or are you going to try and guide me? When somebody immediately starts to interact with your website on this level, when somebody's filling in a form and actually going through, and I've had no motivation to register up until now. I don't understand your website. The only reason I'm registering is because I want to see where you want me to go or what you want me to do. Okay, this is what I was worried about. I've kind of landed on a page that's just empty, and that's not a good thing. You're not taking me anywhere. Immediately this would tell me this website doesn't work. I'm not even going to bother. Ciao. But that didn't seem to happen. I don't know if I got a confirmation email. I'm going to quickly check, maybe with a bit of luck. I think I might need to go into my Gmail account online quickly. Let's just have a quick look-see. Right, looks like we're logged in. There's a bit of a confirmation, and I'm just going to quickly click on the confirmation email. Hopefully that takes me to a page that sort of guides me through. Okay, it's a login page. Let's try log in. Again, I'm interested in seeing where this takes me. Okay, so I've landed on a page that says profile, tells me my username and my name, and when I registered and last visited. And that's it. There isn't really any social network that you were talking about. I'm not quite sure where to go or what to look at, or there isn't a search bar, so I can't search for anything. So yeah, your website's definitely at a grassroots level, and I really advise you to dig deep and look at what it is that you're trying to achieve here, because I'm not quite getting it. Are you trying to be, like I said, an intermediary between other social networks so people can go to one place, I'm assuming, and interact with all their social profiles at the same time? Are you trying to be a whole new sort of social network? If so, what makes your network sort of stand out over the others? Because Facebook's very much cornered that market. The reason why Twitter and Facebook differ is the reasons why they're still both in business. If Twitter tried to be like Facebook, Twitter would stop being in business. Or if Facebook tried to be like Twitter, Facebook would well, I don't know if Facebook would be out of business, but they would definitely not do it as well as the way Twitter has. So I definitely implore you to have a look at this, and guide me through what it is you're trying to do. Well, you need to work out what you're trying to do first, and then guide me sort of through it. But yeah, I think I've gone as far as I can with regards to the inside pages. I've got a few other principles or tips that I want to sort of share with you. Sorry, I've got a couple other documents open here. Let's just close those. Let me open up my other principles. The first one we've covered, which is, do you have a clear call to action? That's the most important. Without it, because in order to get to a clear call to action, it helps you. You need to solve a whole bunch of other things first. So that's why I sort of touch on that one the first, and I sort of spend so much time on it. The next one is, are you asking for too much information? Which we sort of went through when we sort of did the sign up, and you're not asking for too much detail, so I think we're okay there. If you ever have a contact page, I don't know if you do have a contact us page. I see you do. Let's just click on that and see. That would be the most likely other page that you would sort of see anything to do with any type of contact. I see it's sort of taken me to the About Us page, so you don't really have a Contact Us page. The reason I ask, are you asking for too much information, is that sometimes you can fall into that trap. You know, you end up asking for so much details from your customers for them to either register, sign up, or get in touch with you, that it's enough to make them not want to do it. This is a good example. These guys sell these fancy fireplaces in America, and they've got so many contact forms on their website, and the main contact form is so detailed that you don't know where to sort of start. You know, they're asking you for your name, your last name, the country you're from, your company, your profession, the city you're in, the state you're in, your zip address, your email addresses, phone number. What are you, a design professional? You know, what kind of inquiry is this? You know, you feel like you're going through the third degree just trying to send them a message. You know, what kind of model are you interested in? I'm not really interested in a model. I need you to tell me. You know, I don't know the difference between the Firebox 5000 and the Firebox 4000, and they need to tell me that. You know, and the point I'm trying to make here is you've got to let communication take place if your website is dependent on communication. You know, a good example, coming back to the Blue Fountain Media website, their request to quote page does it very, very elegantly. You know, you need lots of information to build a website for a customer. I know, because I've built so many, but I know I'm not going to get it via a contact form. So rather just get what you need. You know, name, email, phone number, company name, and a few sentences about the project. And they're making it so easy that you really don't need to fill in the bottom three. You just need to fill in the top two, and communication starts. You know, you can email each other, you can get more information, you can set up a meeting for a coffee and go through the finer details. But they've grasped the concept that they're not willing to put their customers through hard work when it comes to just basically getting in touch with them. So it's something to bear in mind on any level, even when it comes to registration, when it comes to online checkout. You want to make it as simple and as rudimentary as possible for people when it comes to checking through or going through your website from a contact perspective. I apologize for the occasional cough. I am recovering from the flu. Moving on to my next point. We've got a few more minutes left. Do you have too much text? I'd say the only real text-heavy page that I'm seeing is your network page, which is really basically, it looks like a blog, even though I didn't expect to see a blog when I sort of landed on this page. It just feels like you've got a large amount of content that sort of goes on for quite a while. And the reason I ask, do you have too much content? I'm just going to take sort of one blog article as an example. This one from a few weeks back, actually a few years ago. It's the 10th of June. If I do a quick copy and I go to word counter, I just want to type in to go to a basic word counter, wordcounter.net. We read at a rate of about 5 to 7 words a second. So in a minute, we can sort of handle about 150 words. You know, so that article alone was 624 words. So that's about 4 minutes worth of reading. And you know, 4 minutes is okay if you're reading a magazine off a shelf, but on the internet, 4 minutes is an eternity. It might as well be 15. So you want to make sure that your content isn't too overwhelming. You know, also coming back to sort of your homepage, you do have a lot sort of going on, and it's to the point that people really have to dig to find what it is that you're all about. You know, I see you do have sort of a couple interactive things: your Facebook profile, your Twitter, which I didn't really notice till now. I'm just going to click on your Facebook. Okay, that just takes me to Facebook. It doesn't actually take me to a specific profile. Let Let me just scroll down. But yeah, I mean, even going through your basic content, discover new adventures, easy to use, all of this content that I sort of read through earlier is just very heavy, and it's a lot to get through to get any type of tangible meaning. And the meaning is everything on the internet. If your website isn't meaningful or helpful to your users, um, people are going to turn away. They won't stick around. Think about it. When was the last time you Googled something that you needed help on? Whether it was a recipe, whether something broke and you needed to work out how to fix it. If you might have been sick and you wanted to sort of do a self-diagnosis by typing in your symptoms, whatever it might be, whatever you type into Google, results come back to you from a relevance perspective. They give you what they think you need, and that's why Google was so successful. But regardless, you will click on the first 3 or 4 pages, and then those pages will likely give you the answers that you're looking for. Now, if your website doesn't answer any critical, useful, helpful questions, you're not going to be relevant. You're just going to fall into obscurity. So really question your content, question your entire idea behind what it is you're trying to achieve here, because I'm not getting it. I've spent a good almost half an hour just sort of searching around, being as generous with the time I have to really dig deep and look at what it is you're trying to achieve, and I'm not getting it. I don't understand your concept or your business model. So it's something to really look at, and your website needs to be self-explanatory. If you feel the need to have to explain your website to everybody every time somebody asks you what your website is, instead of just directing them to it and letting them figure it out for themselves, then you've got a problem. If you're the only reason that your website works, then there's an issue. You need to take yourself out of that picture, and your website needs to work on its own. If your website will work on its own and it's building interest and building traffic, then you've got onto a good thing. I mean, coming back to these two examples, especially the Grasshopper example, being a tech startup, you know, these guys understand the necessity or the need for clarity on their concept. But without a good concept, or without a concept to begin with, you wouldn't get it. And once you get the concept, everything sort of falls to place. It's like a really cool game of Tetris, or a very neat puzzle that's sort of been put together. So it's definitely something to consider. And I'm just going to move on to my last point here, which is probably the most useful point, is getting rid of visual distraction. You definitely want to get rid of visual distraction. Like I said, when I first landed on the homepage, I wasn't sure what to look at first. This is a visually distracting layout compared to what I was explaining on my other homepage on Blue Fountain Media, where there was one primary focal point. So you definitely want to keep that about you. And a good example of a visually distracting website would be this website here. They're an IT firm based in the UK, and they've been so preoccupied with making themselves look very busy and very complex, and they've got these fancy picture backgrounds and lots of colors, that you end up being so mesmerized by the colors and the visuals that you don't even realize that they do cloud services and consultancy services, that they're an IT firm. As great as it looks, it isn't working, And I'd say the busiest thing you have on your homepage is definitely all the visuals, and they're very confusing because they're very arbitrary. You've sort of got, all these celebrities at the Oscars. You've got Pink. You've got a starving little child in Africa. You've got some quotes, and then you've got maybe a gas gauge and a few more quotes. I don't get it. Is it trying to be Pinterest? Are you trying to be Google Plus? Are you trying to be another social network? It just doesn't fit, and nothing's clickable apart from the social network links. It definitely needs to be reevaluated and thought through. And I thought I was on my last point already. My apologies. My last point now: lack of trust. Now, trust is a huge thing online. If people don't trust you, they won't want to interact with you or anything. And the best way to build up trust is to use what I refer to as trust indicators. Now, there's a variety of type. The first being any types of companies that you can associate yourself with, from an award standpoint, from a business-to-business standpoint, even from a perspective of other mentions. If your website has been mentioned on any other online startups or other online blogs, you definitely want to show that off any type of credibility that you can get from any other brands or any other businesses, you want to show that off, because people see that and they see approval, social proof, and that makes them want to pay a little bit more attention or give a little bit more of their time, because they respect these other brands enough to stick around and see what the website's all about. If CNN's interested, I wonder what all the fuss is about. It makes you ask that question. And then, yeah, finally, the last kind of trust indicator is the likes of testimonials. Testimonials work really effectively when it comes to building up trust on the internet. If you have any customer testimonials, definitely show them off. It's a quick, actionable way of being able to show that people are responding to your concept or ideas. And, keep them short. Try and use photographs if possible, wherever possible, and definitely use a name and whereabouts they're based. That together, packaged together with maybe one or two testimonials, works really effectively. You want to show them on your homepage. That would really, really make things different and make things stand out and give people an idea of. You can use your testimonials to help explain your products too. If it's the right testimonial. ijumponline helped me manage my social media way better than I ever have in the past. That type of testimonial would work really effectively with not only giving social proof, but also just showing that your website can solve other problems other than what you think they might. I'm going to be jumping over to Browser Stack now, which I will be testing your website on an iPhone and an iPad. And yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Thanks very much.